I'm staring at my savings account. Balance $943. I've been saving for 8 months. 8 months of skipping drinks, meal prepping, saying no to stuff. And I've got less than $1,000 to show for it. This is the part where every finance guru tells you to stay motivated and trust the process. Cool. Except the process feels like pushing a boulder uphill in the rain while someone throws rocks at your face. The first $10,000 is hell, actual hell, not the fun kind where you're learning a new skill, the boring kind where you watch your friends go out and you stay home eating rice and beans for the fourth night in a row. But here's what nobody tells you. That first 10,000 isn't about the money. It's about breaking your brain out of a cage it's been living in your entire life. And once you break through, everything changes. Not because 10 grand is life-changing money. It's not. But because the person who can save 10,000 is a completely different animal than the person who can't, let me show you why this is so brutally hard. Then I'll show you why it gets easier. And I mean, actually easier, not Instagram quote, easier. The math is broken at the start. That's the first problem. When you're at zero, every dollar you save is 100% of your savings. You save 10 bucks, that's your entire net worth. Congrats. You can buy lunch. You save 100, you're rich for exactly 3 days until rent is due. There's no momentum, no compound interest worth mentioning, no psychological wins. You're grinding and the numbers barely move. Let me put this in perspective. If you save $200 a month starting from zero, it takes you 4 years and 2 months to hit 10,000. 4 years. That's an entire presidential term. That's high school. That's long enough to forget why you even started. And here's the kicker. In year one, you save $2,400. In year four, you save another $2,400, the same amount. But in year one, that $2,400 is everything. In year four, it's just another $2,400 on top of the 7 grand you already have. Same effort, different feeling. That's why the start is hell. You're putting in maximum effort for minimum visible progress. Your brain hates this. Your brain wants instant feedback. It wants to see the number jump. But at the beginning, the number doesn't jump, it crawls. And crawling doesn't feel like winning. Now let's talk about the enemies. Because saving money isn't just about math. It's about fighting off everything and everyone trying to take your money. And when you're at zero, you've got no defenses. Enemy number one, your friends. Not because they're bad people, because they're living the life you used to live. They want to grab dinner, catch a movie, hit the bar, normal stuff, except normal stuff costs money, and you're trying not to spend money. So you say no once, twice, 10 times. And eventually they stop asking. You think, good, that's what I wanted. But it doesn't feel good. It feels lonely. You're making the right financial choice and the wrong social choice, and your brain can't reconcile it. So you crack. You go out, you spend 60 bucks you didn't have, and you feel guilty the whole time because you just nuked 3 weeks of progress for one night of pretending you're not broke. That's the trap. You can't win. You save, and you're lonely. You spend, and you're guilty. There's no clean answer. Enemy number two, emergencies. Except they're not really emergencies, they're just life. Your car needs an oil change. Your phone screen cracks. Your dog eats something weird and you panic. Every single one of these costs money you don't have. And when you're at zero savings, you have two choices. Put it on the credit card or raid the savings account. Either way, you lose. Credit card means interest. Raiding savings means starting over. So you raid the savings because it feels less bad, and suddenly you're back at $400 instead of $900, and the voice in your head says, see, this is pointless. You'll never get ahead. That voice is wrong, but it's loud. And when you're tired and broke and your car's making a weird noise, loud voices win. Enemy number three, the system. The system is designed to keep you at zero, not because there's some evil billionaire twirling a mustache, because the economy runs on consumption. You're supposed to spend. That's your job. Spend on rent. Spend on food. Spend on gas. Spend on insurance. Spend on subscriptions you forgot you signed up for. Spend, spend, spend. And whatever's left, that's yours. except there's never anything left because the baseline cost of being alive in 2026 is higher than it's ever been. Rent is up, groceries are up, gas is sideways but still expensive, insurance is a joke, and wages wages are doing that thing where they technically went up but it doesn't feel like it because everything else went up faster. So you're running on a treadmill that's speeding up and wondering why you're not moving forward. You are moving forward. The treadmill is just rigged. Here's the psychology that nobody explains. Saving money at zero feels like punishment. You're denying yourself things, saying no, sacrificing. That's the frame. Sacrifice. And humans hate sacrifice. We're wired to avoid pain and seek pleasure. Spending is pleasure, saving is pain. So your brain fights you every step of the way. It says, you work hard, you deserve this. And it's right. You do work hard. You do deserve nice things. But your brain is playing the short game. It wants dopamine now. It doesn't care about $10,000 in 4 years. 4 years is forever. Now is now. That's the fight. Your rational brain knows saving is smart. Your lizard brain wants the coffee. And the lizard brain is louder. It's older. It's been running the show for 1,000,000 years. Your rational brain is the new intern trying to convince the CEO to change strategy. Good luck with that. But here's where it flips. Here's where the math stops being broken and starts being magic. Once you hit a certain threshold, saving gets easier. Not because you're making more money, not because life gets cheaper, but because the math starts working for you instead of against you. That threshold is somewhere between $5,000 and $10,000 depending on your life. For most people, it's around 10 grand. Here's why. At $10,000, you have options. Your car breaks down, you fix it. You don't panic. You don't raid the savings. You don't put it on a credit card. You pay cash and move on. That's the first unlock. Financial shock absorption. When you have zero savings, every unexpected expense is a crisis. When you have 10,000 unexpected expenses are annoying, not devastating, just annoying. That psychological shift is massive. You stop living in fear mode. You stop making decisions from a place of panic. You start making decisions from a place of choice. And choice is power. Here's the second unlock. Compound interest starts mattering. At $1,000 earning 4% interest, you make $40 a year. Congrats. That's 2 coffees. At 10,000 earning 4%, you make 400. That's $400 you didn't work for. It's not life-changing, but it's no longer invisible. You can see it. You can feel it. And your brain likes things it can see and feel. The number starts moving on its own, even when you're not adding to it. That's momentum. And momentum is addictive. Once you see the account grow without you, you want to see it grow more. So you add more. And it grows faster, and you add more. That's the flywheel. It's slow to start, but once it's spinning, it pulls you forward instead of you pushing it. Here's the third unlock. Your identity changes. This is the big one. At zero savings, you're the person who lives paycheck to paycheck. That's not a judgment. That's just the reality. You spend what you make because what you make barely covers what you need. But at 10,000, you're the person who has $10,000. That's a different identity. You're not rich, but you're not broke. You're in between. And in between is where options live. You can quit a job you hate because you have runway. You can negotiate salary because you're not desperate. You can say no to bad opportunities because you don't need them. That's leverage. And leverage is everything. The person with 10,000 saved makes different choices than the person with zero, not because they're smarter, because they have room to breathe. So how do you actually get there? How do you push through the hell and hit the threshold? 3 moves. That's it. Move 1. Automate everything. I don't care if it's $20 a paycheck or 200. Automate the transfer. The day after you get paid, money moves from checking to savings. You don't see it. You don't touch it. You don't decide whether to save this month. It just happens. This removes willpower from the equation. Willpower is finite. Automation is forever. Set it once and forget it. Your savings will grow in the background while you live your life, not fast, but consistent. And consistent beats motivated every single time. Move two, build the gap. Your savings rate is the gap between what you make and what you spend. Most people try to increase the gap by making more money. Good luck. That takes time. The faster move is to shrink your spending. Not forever, just for now. Cut the subscriptions you don't use, meal prep 3 days a week, skip the impulse buys. You don't have to become a monk. You just have to create 50 or $100 of space every month. That's the gap. And that gap is what turns into savings. Here's the secret. You won't miss most of the stuff you cut. You think you will, you won't. Your brain is lying to you. It thinks every expense is essential because it's used to it. But most of it is habit, not necessity. Test it. Cut something for 30 days. If you don't miss it, keep it cut. If you do, add it back. Simple. Move three. Gamify the milestones. The first 10,000 takes forever, so break it into pieces. First 1,000, then 2, then 5. Celebrate each one, not with spending, with recognition. Take a screenshot. Tell someone. Acknowledge that you did something hard and you're winning. This sounds stupid. It works. Your brain needs wins. Small wins count. They build momentum. They prove to your lizard brain that this saving thing isn't just punishment, it's progress. And progress feels good. Once your brain associates saving with winning instead of suffering, the game changes. You're not grinding anymore. You're leveling up. Let's talk about what happens after 10,000. Because this is where people think, cool, I'm done. You're not done. You're just starting. The first 10,000 proves you can do it. The second 10,000 proves it wasn't a fluke. And the second 10 comes faster, way faster, because now you have momentum, you have systems, you have an identity. You're not the person trying to save. You're the person who saves. That's the shift. And once you make that shift, the math does the rest. At 20,000, your interest is 800 a year. That's real money. At 30, it's 1,200. At 50, it's 2,000. And you're not even working for it. It's just happening. That's compound interest. That's why rich people get richer, not because they're smarter, because they have enough money that their money makes money. And once your money starts making money, you're playing a different game. Here's the brutal truth. Most people never get to 10,000, not because they can't, because they quit. They quit at 900. They quit at 3,000. They quit right before the breakthrough because the breakthrough looks like more hell, not less. They don't realize they're 3 feet from gold. They just see dirt. Don't be most people. Most people are broke. Most people have no savings. Most people will work until they're 70 because they have to, not because they want to. You're choosing different. You're choosing hard now, so life is easier later. That's the trade. And it's the best trade you'll ever make. The first 10,000 is hell. It's supposed to be hell is where you prove you're serious. Anyone can save when it's easy. You're saving when it's hard. That makes you different. That makes you dangerous. Because once you prove you can do hard things, you realize most things aren't that hard. They're just uncomfortable. And uncomfortable is temporary. So here's your move. Check your savings right now. Whatever the number is, that's your starting line, not your finish line, your starting line. Now set a target. If you're at 0, target 1,000. If you're at 3, target 5. If you're at 8, target 10. And automate the monthly transfer to get there. $50, 100, 200. Whatever you can do without making your life impossible, then let time do the work. You won't see progress every day. You won't feel rich next month. But in 6 months, you'll look at the number and realize it's real. In a year, you'll have momentum. In 2 years, you'll be a completely different person with completely different options. And none of it required you to be special, just consistent, just stubborn enough to not quit when quitting felt easier. The first 10,000 is hell, but hell is temporary. Freedom is permanent. Stop complicating it. Start getting free.